Okay, thank you very much. So the session now is being recorded so that you can refer to it for your future reference and also for the audit purpose. Okay, so let's recap of what you have read and what you have understand about technical description. Okay, so basically a technical description means a detailed discussion of the physical details and quantifiable aspects of an object. Okay, right. For example, what does it mean by physical details? It includes color, shape, size, texture, width, materials of construction and such. And then quantifiable details are things that you can count or measure, such as the number of cars on a parking lot, geographical locations, or distance. So when it comes to technical description, it means that a product, okay, you can count it, right? It is a quantifiable aspect. And then at the same time, you can explain in detail about the product, okay, using sources of description, right? Such as the color, the shape, the texture, okay, and so on. So that is about technical description in general. All right. So technical descriptions are commonly found in web pages, sales brochures, reports, manuals, articles in magazines. And then a technical description is commonly organized using part by part approach. Okay, for example, if you are planning to buy a new laptop, okay, so what you're going to do, you're going to go to the website of the platform that is selling the laptop. For example, the website of HP or maybe Dell or maybe Apple. Okay, so according to your budget, so you go to the website and then you are going to do some reading. Okay, and then in the reading itself, okay, in the sales brochures, right, online sales brochures, so it will give you the description of the product. Okay, the description of the product. So you're going to look at the operating system. What kind of operating system that you want to use? Okay, is it going to be Intel or is it going to be AMD, for instance? Okay, then you're going to look at the RAM capacity. Okay, so a normal laptop nowadays comes or equipped with 4 gig of RAM. Okay, so in my example, right, I just bought a new laptop last year. Okay, and then it also comes with 4 gig of RAM, and I upgraded it to 12 gig of RAM because I need to do some editing on videos and also images. So the description given that in the sales brochures or online sales brochures will be the guidelines or the foundation for me to decide further what kind of laptop that I'm going to buy. Of course, number one, you're going to look at the price, but at the same time, you're going to make the comparison based on the description given on the technical aspect about the laptop that you are planning to buy. Okay, and then normally it is organized using part by part approach. For example, if you're going to describe about a laptop, okay, in front of you, so maybe you're going to go with the monitor first or the screen first, followed by the keyboard, and maybe the next part is going to be the hardware, okay, which consists of the SSD or hard disk, okay, and then the other parts of it. Okay, so normally when you are going to describe about a product, technically you are going to use part by part approach. Okay, right. So let's move on to the next slide. Okay, so as you can see now, there are many sources of description. For example, okay, you can talk about the purpose of having the product, okay, the size, the shape, the color, dimensions, okay, capacity, materials, and such. So when you are describing about a product, for example, you are describing about the laptop, and when you're going to talk about the main part, okay, let's say there are several parts, so you are focusing only on the screen. So maybe when you are going to describe about the subparts of the screen, which is the casing of the screen, so you're going to talk about the materials. Okay, so it is made from aluminium, for example, or it is made from plastic. Okay, so that will be the main parts and the subparts, and you describe each of the parts, okay, accordingly by using these sources of description. Okay, but bear in your mind, sometimes when you are describing about a product, okay, it doesn't mean that you need to have all of the sources of description as stated here, okay, on the screen, right? It can be a few of it, and some of the parts, even though you are explaining with the same product, okay, the sources of description might be different. Okay, so it doesn't mean that it's going to be the same all the way, but somehow maybe for certain parts, okay, it only involve certain way of describing it. Give me 1 minute. Okay, all right, any question about sources of description? Class, do you have any question about sources of description?
So,
No.
none.
Okay, no question about it. Great. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. Okay, let's have a look at this example. Okay, so you are describing about a stapler, and in the stapler itself, there are several main parts and also maybe sub parts. So you have handle, hammer, pusher, crimp area, base, anvil, carrier, pin, and staples. Okay, there are 9 parts altogether in a stapler. Okay, so let's consider it as the main parts of the stapler. So when you are going to describe about it, you go with the part by part approach. So you're going to start maybe from the handle, it moves to hammer, pusher, and the rest. Okay, so this is one example of how to describe of a product using the part by part approach. Okay, so this is the continuation. All right. So for activity 1.3 here, I believe that you have done this, okay? And then what you are supposed to do is very simple, okay? You go to Google, right? And then try to search for how many parts that you have in each of the product given here. For example, TV remote, maybe there are 2 main parts, for example, okay? But again, there is no right or wrong answers because, okay, because some product may have different parts or many parts compared to the other products, even though it is the same thing, but the model might be different. For example, okay, a handphone over here. So your handphone might have different parts, and my handphone might have different parts. So there is no right or wrong in giving your answers for this activity. Okay, right. For some people, the TV remote is very simple. Right, the plastic one, the plastic casing, and then you have the battery, and then you have the buttons. For some other people, maybe it's going to be a smart TV remote. So it looks like an iPad, whereby you can control everything on the screen. Okay, on the screen of the device, for example, and it works as a TV remote. So it depends, right? So let's say if you're going to describe about a bicycle, so if you're using the part by part approach, maybe the parts are the same, but for certain bicycle, the parts are a bit different because we have many types of bicycle. We have hybrid bicycle, we have road bike, we have mountain bike. Okay, even mountain bike, it is categorized into several other category. Okay, for example, you have the downhill bike, you have the 2.9ers, you have the 27.5, you have the 26. So there are many types of bicycles. So there is no right or wrong for this activity. Okay, don't worry about that. All right. Okay, we're not going to do this. All right, this is just a continuation of the activity. Okay, any question about technical description before we move into the next slide that you are going to learn for today?
I have a good question.
Okay,
So, just like for technical description, can we put some metaphor inside technical description?
what does it mean by metaphor here?
Just like macam,
You're not telling it literally. I understand that. Okay, but what kind of example of a metaphor?
if there's something we got a product and the product look like sunflower. So literally, we're telling about sunflower and about this product. Is it also called technical?
Okay, it is not a metaphor. Actually, it is a simile. Okay, so
Simile.
you are simile in the sense that you are describing about the product and it looks something like the other way around. Okay, I mean like not the other way around, but it looks like the product. Okay, let's say the one that you mentioned. Okay, it is a fan maybe, but the fan design looks like a sunflower, for example. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, like that.
Okay, all right. Yes, you can do that. Okay, you can do that. But again, you have to be very specific when it comes to the description. So, in the beginning of your presentation, okay, or your description, maybe you can say that this product over here, this is a USB fan, for example. And as you can see, it looks like a sunflower. Okay, and this fan contains of or consists of several parts. Okay, you can do that in the beginning, but when you are describing about each of the main parts or the subparts, you have to be very specific. Okay,
All
using
right.
the description. Okay,
Thank you, sir.
all right, welcome. Right, any other question from the members of the floor? What about the others? Any question?
No,
No.
sir.
I
All
think
right,
no.
great. Okay, let's move on to what you are supposed to learn in the first meeting, which is planning for technical description. Okay, and this is in Kalam, already in Kalam. All right, if you go to Kalam, right, you click week 2. I have uploaded the slides over here, so you can download the slides on your own. Okay, and you can go with me while I am explaining about the slides. You don't have to copy everything because it's already here. Okay, and yeah, let's have a look about it. Okay, right, what does it mean by planning a technical description? Okay, so there are 9 strategies to plan for an effective technical description. Okay, remember this. When you are going to describe about the product to the others, okay, your audiences, so you can follow these 9 strategies, okay, to ensure that your presentation is effective and that people will remember about your product. Okay, and since that you're going to have your first assessment, okay, next week we're going to discuss. I'm going to give you the briefing about your first assessment, assessment 1A and assessment 1B. And for your first assessment, you need to assume that you are a representative of a company, okay, and you are required to present about the latest product, okay, produced by your company in an exhibition. Okay, so this is going to be useful, the 9 strategies over here, to help you to visualize of what you are supposed to prepare and how to deliver the information to the audiences. Okay, all right. So the first strategy over here is to identify the subject, okay, or the product that you are going to showcase to the audiences. Okay, right. For your information, there is a list of banned products, meaning that you are not allowed to choose that product anymore for the presentation. Because why? It is too common. Okay, how do I check whether it is a common product or not? It's very simple. Okay, once you have discussed with your team members, okay, and decided on to choose what kind of product that you're going to present, okay, you can go to Google or you can go to YouTube. Okay, you type about the product. I mean, if you have the model name to be specific, okay, it's going to be easier. And then you type it, and then you look at the description. When do people give some review about the product? If it is like 5 years ago, it means that the product is not new. So it has been in the market for quite some time. Okay, that is how I check whether the product um is something that is recent or not. Okay, and how to identify the product or the subject for the presentation is very simple. Okay, since that you're going to work in a group, all right, and I have checked with the name list in our WhatsApp group, I found out that okay, you have put yourself into several groups, okay, and then you decide among you, you discuss among you what is the product that you're going to choose to be presented. Okay, I will share the list maybe by today, by the end of the day today, or maybe by tomorrow, because we are still finalizing among the latest product that is in the list of the banned products. Okay, right. So once you have looked at the list of the banned products, you will have a clearer picture of what are the product or what is the product that you need to focus on. Okay, so first you need to identify the product. That is the most important thing, and make sure, right, each one of you in the group or a pair, okay, you know about the product and how it works. Okay, it's very simple. If you are not familiar with the product, maybe you can ask your friend who is suggesting about the product, okay, to explain to you about the product, and then, or you can also go online and then check about the product, and then you discuss among you, okay, and whether it is the most suitable product to be selected for the presentation. Okay, that is strategy number one. Strategy number two, class, 1 minute, please. Somebody's. Hi guys, sorry, I'm back. Okay, my supervisor is checking on me. All right, so yeah, your lecturers checking on you, and my supervisor is also checking on me. Okay, because I am studying as well under him. All right, so let's go back to what I have left. Okay, so number two, right, in the strategy of planning for an effective technical description is to define the purpose and audience for the description. Okay, so remember that I mentioned that you are going to assume that you are attending an exhibition, an online exhibition, okay, and then you are the representative of a company. So you need to know what is the purpose of you presenting there in the exhibition and who will be your audiences. All right, so in this case, maybe you are just going to inform your audiences about the product, the latest product that your company produce, and then your audiences can be from the non-technical background to technical background. So people with non-technical background to people with technical background. Okay, so you cannot assume that your audiences know everything about the product, and at the same time, you cannot assume that your audiences do not know anything about the product. Okay, and please, when it comes to this, you have to make sure that you are able to explain about the product in the simplest way possible. Okay, so meaning that when you are presenting, try to avoid any technical jargon. Okay, technical jargon, that is something that is very, what do you call it, too high for certain people, the definition of it, and maybe it is not too high for other people, but somehow, okay, that terminology is not very common for certain people. So please avoid that kind of things or jargon. Okay, so you need to define what is the purpose and who will be your audiences when you are describing about the product. Okay, number three, research the object. Okay, so this is the most important thing that you need to do. When you have discussed and decided about the product, okay, you need to give the name of the product or the product itself, okay, to me. I mean, like, not physically. I'm going to create a list after this, okay, in the WhatsApp group. Okay, I'm going to have a look at what is the product that you are going to present. Once it is approved, meaning that you have gotten the consent from me, so you need to do the background research of the product or the project or the object. How to do so is very simple, because we are living in 2021, everything is on the fingertip. Okay, so you just type about the product, all right, and then you search all of the information regarding the product. Okay, let's say you are going to talk about the latest electric grass trimmer. Okay, electric trimmer, right, that you use to trim the grass, okay, on your yard, for example. All right, so you are going to, what do you call it, okay, you are going to describe about the product based on what kind of information that you have retrieved from the official website, for example. Okay, so you know about the product from that website. Okay, you know the function of it, how does it works, okay, what are the main parts, what are the sub parts of the product, and then you're going to use that kind of information in your presentation. You cannot copy and paste, but you are allowed to copy and adapt. Meaning that you make some changes, you paraphrase the information, or you summarize the information that you have taken from other sources. Okay, next, identify the parts and subparts. Okay, all right. Some product may consist of many parts, many main parts, and somehow it doesn't have any subpart at all. So it is normal. Okay, so it doesn't mean that all of the product consists of a subpart and also main parts. No, okay, it doesn't mean like that. But all of the product must consist of main parts. Okay, for example, if you're going to describe about an electric kettle, for example, you have the handle, you have the lid, and maybe you have the container. Okay, so three main parts over there, and then you're going to have the heating, what do you call it, element at the bottom of the kettle. So you have four parts, four main parts altogether. But maybe on certain aspect, okay, let's say the handle, it doesn't consist of any subparts, because why? It is only the handle, but you can still explain or describe about the product. Okay, and for other parts, maybe you are talking about when you're describing about this heating element at the bottom of the kettle. Maybe you have the heating element itself, and then you have the cable. Okay, and maybe you have other parts that help to make the heating element work. Okay, sorry, dry throat. Okay, once you have identified the parts and the subparts, you are going to select the sources of description. So for this one, let's go back to this slide. All right. Okay, so as I have mentioned to you, as I have mentioned to you, okay, it doesn't mean that all of the sources of description here can be used for all of the main parts or the subparts. Sometimes, okay, it is not related at all. So you must be able to identify what are the main parts and the subparts and what are the sources of description that you can use for each of the main parts or the subparts. Do you get me? Do you understand me? Class, do you understand?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, Ahmad.
Great.
Yes.
Right.
Mm.
So please make sure, okay, for example, if you're going to explain about the handle of the kettle, right? Maybe you can use the purpose of it. Okay. Maybe you can use the shape, color, for example. Right. So if you're asking me, sir, how many main parts or subparts that we need to describe, okay, when it comes to the presentation. So previously, for a group, we asked, okay, 6 main parts or subparts to be described for the presentation. So meaning that there are 3 presenters. So each one of you, you are going to present 2 main parts or subparts in the product. Okay, so that is for group work. Okay, if it is a pair work, previously or previous semester, we ask each of the presenter to present 2 main parts or subparts of a product. So if it is a pair work, there are 4 main parts or subparts that you need to describe. Okay, and you have to choose out of the sources of description stated here, only few of it that is relevant or related to the product. I mean the subparts or the main parts. Okay, and then you need to use specific language. Specific language here meaning that, okay, let's say if you are describing about a supercar, all right, instead of saying that the car can go very fast, you're going to say that, okay, or you're going to describe that the maximum speed of this car is up until 250 kilometer per hour. Okay, or instead of saying this is a car, maybe you can explain in detail saying that, all right, this is a sedan car, this is an SUV, okay, this is what do you call it, MPV, multi-purpose vehicle. So you have to be very specific. Okay, number 7, plan and develop graphics. Okay, so you have to plan how to organize your presentation, and then how are you going to organize or how are you going to describe in detail, okay, in order to make people further understand about the product that you are presenting to them. So you can use graphics, okay, and if you notice, people can understand better if they have a look at the pictures or images rather than reading the slides. Okay, so it's easier for people to know more about the product if you put in together the graphics, okay, the images. All right. Okay, number 8, plan a format. Okay, you can use a description writing outline, which I will share with you afterwards. Okay, and lastly, review and revise your technical description. So for number 9, what you can do is that you can read after you have completed your task, you read back what you have written or what you have planned for the presentation and check for any errors or mistake. Okay, you can also ask your team members, okay, since that there are 3 of you, all right, for a group, okay, you have the plan that you have prepared, and then you ask them to read about what you have written or prepared. If there is any mistake, okay, you still have time, and please revise the content or you make some correction. Okay, so these are the 9 strategies in order to plan for an effective technical description. Okay, let's have a look at the detailed version of what each stands for. Okay, number 1, identify the subject or the object or the product. Okay, so be clear about the object that you are describing. So, such as a stapler or a computer. Okay, a stapler or a computer, for example, right? Whether it is a shoes or wallet, okay, or is it a software, programs, or application? So if you are planning to describe about a computer, a laptop, for example, right? Okay, you don't have to explain about the software or the programs or the applications that you can install in the laptop, because when you are doing so, you are actually talking about two different products. Okay, two different products. So please be very specific if you're going to explain or describe about the laptop. So you can only describe about the laptop, not other things that you can install inside the laptop. Okay. Next, define the purpose and audience for the description. So you need to be specific. Why are you describing about the product to the others? Okay, whether it is going to be informative or persuasive. Okay, for informative presentation, it's going to be very simple because you just need to showcase about the product to the audiences, just to tell them, okay, this is the latest product being produced by our company, and then that's it. For persuasive, it is a bit difficult because you are persuading people either to buy the product or to change and use the product that you are giving to them or you are suggesting to them. Okay. For example, what we can see for persuasive presentation, if you go to the shopping mall, okay, you have people, okay, at the concourse area trying to sell something, their product. Okay. For instance, they are selling the powerful blender. Okay, so when you watch the presentation, they are going to persuade you, and at the end of it, okay, you are going to buy that blender because you fall for the presentation. You see that the product that has been presented, okay, it is very reliable, it is very beneficial, for example. So you buy the product. So that is a persuasive presentation compared to informative presentation. Okay, so you decide among you what kind of approach that you're going to use, whether it is informative or persuasive presentation. Okay, so this next question depends on the question before or the elements before. Okay, and you need to consider who will be your audiences, general public or experts. So I have mentioned to you earlier, so you have to assume that some of your audiences have a technical background knowledge about the product that you are going to present. Some of them might not have technical background knowledge about the product. So the simplest thing is that you must be able to present in a more layman kind of approach. Layman here meaning that the easiest way that people can understand about the product. Okay, so you don't have to use the technical jargon, all right, and then you can use the easiest words that can describe about the product. Okay, number 3 here, okay, is to research the project, the object, right? So as I have mentioned to you, we are living in 2021, so you are not going to have a problem about this. So you can, if you don't know about the product and two of your other friends in the same group have suggested about the product, then you can what do you call it, Google it, okay, go to the internet and then try to search about the product, and you read more what is it about the product and how it works. Okay, you must do a research about the object. All right, and at the same time, you can also use your own experiences using the product. Okay, so it depends. So you can use the experience and top with the information that you have taken from the internet in order for you to describe about the object or the product. Okay, number 4, identify the parts and subparts. Right, for example, here, if you're going to present about a computer, remember part by part approach. So you are going to describe about the monitor, the keyboard, external disk drive, and the central processing unit. So 1, 2, 3, and 4 main parts all together. Okay, all right. That is about a computer. Okay, if you're going to describe about a simple wooden pencil, so maybe it consists of lead, the wooden barrel, the eraser, and the metal clip. Okay, so all 4 main parts all together, and maybe each of the main parts consists of other sub parts. Okay, number 5, select sources of description, and as I have told you earlier, some of the sources of description might be suitable for certain parts. Okay, some of it are not. So please try and look very careful, okay, of what the sources of description that you're going to use when you are describing about that particular part or main parts, okay, or subparts, right? The main parts and the subparts. Specific language terms, okay, number 6, talking about the latest model of car produced by Perodua. So you can, instead of saying that the latest model, so you can say that it is Perodua Ativa, for example. Okay, so please be very specific. Okay, number 7, plan and develop graphics. Again, so try to find this kind of images, okay, in internet, and I believe you can get it, so that you can highlight what are the main parts, what are the subparts, and how each of the parts works. Okay, so it's going to be easier for you, because when it comes to the infographic, okay, assessment 1A, you need to put the product at the center of the poster, and then after that you need to draw the lines, okay, and each of the line constitute what kind of explanation that you're going to describe to the audiences. Okay, and then we have planner format. Right, this is just a picture of it. I will show you afterwards the completed version, detailed version, and lastly, review and revise your technical description. Okay, right, class. Question, please, from the members of the floor.
For the one, the description about the thing, just like the main part, right? So if there is so many main part in a thing in an item or just like a project, right? So should we tell them all of it, or we just tell them half of it, or we should be detailed or not?
Okay, so it depends on the question and depends on the instruction for the assessment. So next week, we're going to have a look at the latest version of the question and also the instruction. So if it is stated in the instruction that in a group, you have to describe 6 main parts or subparts of a product. So let's say if a product consists of maybe 10 main parts, you choose only 6 out of 10. Okay?
All right. Okay.
All right. Do I answer your question?
Kind of, yes. 50-50. But it's okay. I understand it.
All right. Okay. All right. So you don't have to explain everything in detail. Okay. I mean, let's say if it requires you to explain only 6 main parts, then you go to 6 main parts. But for the 6 main parts, of course, you need to be very specific. Okay. I mean, let's say if you're going to talk about the handle of the kettle, so you're going to be very specific. What is the shape? What is the color? Okay, what is it made from? Right, maybe some of the handle is going to be made by steel. Okay, some of the handles are used or are using what you call plastic. Okay, as a mold. So you are going to do a very thorough research about each of the main parts that in the product that you have chosen, okay, and approved by me. Right, and that is the reason why you are supposed to start by next week, okay, once you have given the briefing. Okay, I will give you the briefing about the first assessment. So starting from next week, you should start looking for the product and make sure that the product consists of several parts that you can describe. Okay, it happened every semester. Some of the students, okay, they what they call it, they discuss and then they found a product. Okay, and then, sir, is it okay if we use this product? All right, and then I will ask them, how many parts are there? Okay, so they will be having problem in finding the main parts and also the subparts. You can use PS5, for example, but how many parts are there? Okay, and for your information, none of the group or the pair in this section will be doing the same product. So if one of the groups, okay, they have chosen PS5, for example, and I have approved it. So the other group or the other pair, you are not allowed to do the same product. Okay, that is for your information. Okay, right? Yes. Okay. Next, let's have a look at the writing a technical description over here. Okay, so this one can be downloaded from our Kalam. Okay, writing a technical description. So this is the template, right? So writing a technical description here, this is the outline. Okay, you can write technical description. What is the title? The title is for the product that you are going to describe. Okay, what you should have in the introduction, it is stated here. Okay, and then description of main parts and subparts, if any. Any here meaning that if you can find the subparts, then you are going to include it. If you cannot find the subparts, then no problem. Okay, and as I have mentioned also, right, if you are working in a group and if the instruction asks you to describe about 6 main parts, so meaning that 3 of you, you're going to take each of you 2 main parts or subparts to be described. Okay, this is for the outline. Okay, if you scroll down a bit, then you're going to have a look at the sample of a technical presentation or technical description outline. Okay, so the title is Workhorse Flashlight. Right, this is the introduction. Okay, and you are going to put the image like this. Okay, so that people will have a clearer picture of the product, and then you're going to describe about the main parts or the subparts of the product. Okay, main part 1 and subparts. Okay, the body of it. Then we have the battery compartment, the switch. Okay, and then it goes to the second main part or subparts, the bulb assembly, reflector, the bulb connector. Okay, so basically for main part 2, there are 1, 2, 3, and 4 subparts. Okay, for main part 1, which is the body, all right, you have the battery compartment and the switch, for example. Okay, so this is how you can plan and write your technical description. Okay, plan and write for your technical description. Okay, any question, class?
So the choose of the products, right? So can we choose? I mean, we need to choose the, the product that already wujud. Sorry, my English is bad. Or can it can be there's something that is not being made yet.
Okay,
Which one
right.
the
If
prefer?
you are going for prototype, which is something is not in the market yet, you will be having difficulty to explain about it. Okay, so you are given the freedom to choose any product in the market, but at the same time, we will provide you with the list of the banned products. So banned products here meaning that you cannot choose any of the products stated in the list because it has been showcased before, and maybe what do you call it? It has again, sorry, or maybe it has been in the market for quite some time before. So you cannot choose that kind of product. So I will share with you the list next week when I'm giving you the briefing about your first assessment. Okay? All right. Any other question?
Sir,
Yeah.
I would like to ask if the banned item is similar to that product, how would it would be?
Again, can you please repeat your question?
If, as a like example, if smartphone is under the list of the banned list,
Mhm.
if something is similar like smartphone, is it acceptable?
No.
No.
Once it is, okay, let's say if it is a smartphone, and I can rest assured that you are not allowed to present about smartphone. Okay, even though it is a new latest model like Samsung S21 or iPhone 12, okay, 12 Pro Max 512 gig and such, still it falls under the category of a smartphone. So therefore, you are not allowed to present about it anymore.
Okay, okay.
Okay, right. But I believe that once you have looked at the list of the banned products, then you can get a clearer picture of what you can choose. Okay, right. So for the activity, because you still have like an hour to go, and then this is going to be completed within this week, hopefully. All right, and at the same time, I will be like checking what you have submitted online. Okay, so this activity is taken here, writing a technical description. I have downloaded it for you. Okay, in group, write a one-page technical description of one of the objects below. Use the technical description outline and include graphics to illustrate the object. Okay, it is going to be only one page. All right, choose only one out of 10 products that you have here. Choose only one. Okay, and then you're going to write your description here based on the outline given earlier. Okay, so what is the outline? Writing a technical description here. So this is the outline. All right, so you're going to start working in group. Okay, look at all of the products that you have here. Let's say you choose to describe about hair dryer. So you are going to use the same template here. Right, technical description. What is the title? Okay, maybe Panasonic hair dryer, for example. Okay, and then the introduction, the description, and such. And also, do not forget to put the graphic to support your writing. So your task in a group, okay, you still have an hour to go, and then maybe you can use the other 2 hours taken from the second meeting, okay, and you're going to do this activity. All right. So each group, you're going to submit only one work, okay, and then where to submit it, all right, it is going to be in our Google Classroom. Okay. Under week 2, you have writing a technical description. So I have assigned to all of you, all right, regarding this activity, writing a technical description. Okay, you choose out of 10 products over here, you choose only one, okay, to be described. And then each group or pair, you just need to submit one submission over here. Okay, under technical or representation, go to week 2, and then under week 2, you can find writing a technical description. Then once you have done with your work, you just upload it in this platform. Okay, right. Question, class?
Sir,
Yes.
I got one more question. I mean, this is just inside my head and my team. We just bincang, right? Discuss
You were
just
discussing, yeah. Okay.
yeah. So we're gonna if the thing is from anime. Is it okay?
You're going to pick.
Something in anime, just like a boat in anime, but literally the boat has so many things that we can describe it. It's like Thousand Sunny. Do you watch One Piece, sir?
No,
No.
I didn't watch anime.
I see, I see. But literally, is it okay for you, or it's better
Maybe,
to use something that in real life?
maybe you can share the picture of the product in our WhatsApp group, perhaps. Okay, and I can have a look at it. Okay,
Yes.
and if it is existed in the market, then you can present about it. And it
All right.
still depends on the list of the banned products.
Oh, all right, sir.
All right, okay. So if it is not in the list, then it should be okay. But we'll try to make sure that, okay, you have to make sure that the product is in the market, not in the what you call it, in the anime, in the cartoon and such, because
I
we
see.
want the product to be something that is very close to you. Because remember, this is technical communication, okay, and you are describing about the objects or the products surrounding you. Okay, because this is what you're going to do in the future when you're
All
going to
right.
start. Okay.
I get it. Mm-hmm. I understand. All right.
All right. The others. Do you have any question?
One more, one more. Sorry, sir. Sorry, sir.
No worries.
So how about the old stuff? I mean, just like the really, really old stuff, just like before. Because my team, I got one more thing that we just discussed just now. can we choose the camera from the old one, the one that have the big flash?
Okay, all right. It still falls under, if I'm not mistaken, it still falls under the aspect of
Then,
camera. Yeah,
oh, I see. All right. It's okay, sir.
still falls under the aspect of a camera. Still a camera, even though that technology is like
Different.
conventional. Okay, not the latest technology, but it is a camera. Still a camera.
All right, sir.
Okay, I will ask my coordinator whether I can share the list as soon as by today, so that by today that you can start looking for the product. Okay, hopefully. Is it okay?
Yes, sir. Okay, sir.
All right. Guys, the others, don't you have anything to ask?
Sir, I want to ask about the hand-in. Is it all of the hand-in in one group or just a percent hand-in?
Only one copy, Vinly.
Oh,
One
one
copy.
copy. Okay.
Okay. So meaning that, let's say the three of you, all right, and Shimi and also Shasha, like because three of you appears next to each other, okay, on my screen. Okay, let's say three of you are working together. So you choose only one of you to submit it. Okay, maybe Shimi, you're going to upload it in the group, in the Google Classroom. And then do not forget to put your name and your ID number so that I know that it belongs to you, three of you.
Okay,
All right,
okay.
sir.
Okay, right. Okay, but remember, the for the activity, it is only one page, and this is going to be like a premonition of what you're going to have for your first assessment and your second assessment, actually. Assessment 1A and assessment 1B, pardon me, okay? So it's going to be like a premonition of what you're going to have for assessment 1A and assessment 1B. So I am actually directing you towards what you're going to do for your first assessment. Okay, question? No?
I think no question.
No more from the others? Are you still there?
Yes,
Yes.
Yeah.
yes.
I
Yes.
said all the voices, all the other voices will only appear when it comes to thank you, sir. That's the end of the day. All right, okay. So if you don't have any
Sir,
other question, yeah,
sorry to interrupt.
okay, no worries. Sherry,
Uh, Sherry,
yes, I can see
I want
that.
to ask, how do we submit what, uh, what, what topic we want to choose?
Okay, oh, not the topic, the product, is it?
Yeah, yes, the product.
Okay, all right. So I'm going to try to get the list of the product as soon as by today. When you have looked at the product, okay, remember that you have put in your name and your group numbers. Okay,
Okay.
so you can edit the same list, okay, the group numbers and the name, and then you just put in the name of the product that you are going to present. So based from there, okay, I will double check and see whether it is approved or not.
Oh, okay. Thank you, sir.
All right, you're welcome. Okay, how about the others? No other question?
Sir,
Yes.
when is the due date for the assignment? Assessment?
Is it for the
I mean,
assessment
exercise
activity
in Kalam. Yes,
or the one that I shared with you just now?
yes.
Okay, no due date, but okay, again, you have an hour to go, let's say today, and also in our second meeting, okay, I will have a look at it, whether we are going to have a physical online class like this, or you are given the time to complete the task. Okay,
Okay.
so no specific date, no specific date. All right, so you have until like maybe next week, depends on you. But hopefully by next meeting, okay, next week, so I can see like some submission, hopefully, or maybe all of you submitted the works. So let's say there are 28 of you. If it is a pair work, there will be 14 submissions if it is a pair work. But since that we have a combination of a group and also pair work, so maybe we are going to have like maybe 7 plus 2, perhaps, okay, or maybe 6 plus 3 kind of submission. Do not forget to put your full name and your ID number in the submission, so I know that it belongs to certain group. Okay, you can use the group that you have set for your first assessment. Okay, and yeah, this is going to be a good platform where and for you to see whether the team members in the group can work together or not for the exercise. Okay. All right. So if you don't have any other question, I believe that's all from me today. Thank you very much for joining me. After lunch is very challenging. Okay. All right. So please stay safe. If you have any other question, you can reach me personally or you can also ask me in the WhatsApp group. So that's all from me again. Thank you very much. And you are free to leave the session now.
All right, sir. Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you very much,
Thank you,
everyone.
sir.
You're welcome. You're welcome.